On March 6th, Wizards of the Coast announced a brand new banning in Legacy. Expressive Iteration and White Plume Adventure are no longer legal in the format. With the two most popular decks in the format getting a card banned from them, it is a perfect time to play off-the-wall Brews and Rogue decks. So in today's video, we are going to be taking Legacy Leylines into a League of Legacy. Legacy Leylines is a strange deck trying to abuse the fact that you can put in 4 to 5 Leylines on turn 0 before any game actions happen, meaning that they are uncounterable and just get on the battlefield for free. But you might be wondering, what does getting these Leylines actually do, and how do you win the game with this deck? And the answer to that is a card called Opalescence. This card reads, each other global enchantment is a creature with power and toughness equal to its converted mana cost. It's still an enchantment. This means if you put 4 to 5 Leylines out on turn 0 and you play this card, they will all be 4/4 creatures, giving you 16 to 20 power. But the problem with Opalescence is that it's not a Leyline as well, so we actually have to cast this card. And if we're emptying out our hand of 4 to 5 Leylines, we're only going to have 2 cards left. So the way we cast Opalescence with only 1 card is by using a card called Serra's Sanctum. Serra's Sanctum is a land that says tap, add white to your mana pool for each enchantment you control. This means if our starting hand is 4 Leylines, a Serra's Sanctum, and an Opalescence, that we can have 16 power on turn 1. Well, this is a super powerful effect. The issue with the deck is consistency. If you had the perfect hand every time, then you could have turn 1 20 power, which would be busted. But the problem is we only have 4 Serra's Sanctums and 4 Opalescence. So to minimize the variance, we are using cards like Crop Rotation and Light Tutor and Idyllic Tutor. Having these 3 cards in our deck allows us to have additional copies of our key cards. But is this deck consistent enough? That is the question we're going to be answering in today's league. On the play for match 1, hand just doesn't have enough Leylines, so we'll mull. Our 6 is 2 land lights, so we'll mull. And our 5 looks pretty good, so we're going to keep. We're going to put back Opalescence and then Light Tutor and hope that we can find an Opalescence or a Tutor off the top. Pre-game actions, put 4 Leylines in. Ooh, and our opponent also has a Leyline. So to dodge Wasteland, we're not even going to play our land out. Opponent goes Ancient Tomb into Chrome Mox. We draw another Leyline, but again, not going to run out our land. Opponent does have a Wasteland. Opponent has a Helm, but since we have Leylines, they can't target us. Draw Leyline of Punishment. Nothing we can do still. Opponent does nothing. We draw another Leyline. Now it's a fun game of just staring at each other. They do play land into Dothy, so they do have a clock now. Draw Mana Confluence. We won't play the land. Opponent plays City of Traders and attacks in for 3. We draw another Leyline. Pass it up again. Opponent finds a Shieldred. That's a very good card. Attacks us for 3. We find an Enlightened Tutor. We will play Mana Confluence. They wasteland it. We will cast our Enlightened Tutor. And we will find our Opalescence. Opponent does gain 2 life. They attack in for 7. Play another Leyline. We take 2 down to 2. Play Serra's Sanctum. Play Opalescence. Oh, I did not realize it makes their Leylines into creatures, and these are only 4/4s, so our opponent got us. We'll get into sideboarding. I believe there's nothing we want for this matchup, so we'll just hit submit. For game 2, our starting 7's a little too slow, so we'll mull. Our 6 is a little slow, but we'll keep. Putting back a Mana Confluence. We put in our 2 Leylines. They have a Leyline as well. Bleed on City. Opponent goes turn 1 Thoughtseize. We will Enlighten in response, and we will grab our Opalescence. We draw the Opalescence. We'll just go Mana Confluence and pass. Opponent goes land into Dothy. Draw Suppression Field, but we will just cast our Opalescence here. We will attack the opponent for 4, or for 8. Opponent attacks in for 3. Draw Leyline of the Meek. Attack the opponent for 4. They take it. We'll actually cast our Suppression Field here, or our 2/2 creature, I should say. Opponent found a Karn, but they cannot activate it because of Suppression Field. Opponent attacks us for 3, but now we get to kill Karn. Found a land off the top. We will go to kill Karn. We kill Karn, and then we can cast out our Leyline of the Meek. Now we do have lethal on board. An opponent scoops him up. Let's get into game number 3. For game 3, our starting hand has Leyline of Sanctity, which is very good, so I think I'm going to keep. 3 game actions. Draw Mana Confluence. We'll just play land and pass. Opponent has a turn 2 Karn, grabbing Helm of Obedience. Draw Leyline of Anticipation. We'll just play our Mana Confluence and pass. Opponent down ticks Karn again, grabbing Ensnaring Bridge. They cast a Dark Ritual off a swamp, playing Dothy. They Thoughtseize themselves, and we actually have 0 way of beating an Ensnaring Bridge, so opponent got us in game 3. Let's get to match number 2. Just a friendly reminder to leave a subscribe, it really helps me out and it's free to do. Match 2, we're on the play, but our hand doesn't have any lands, so we'll mull. Our 6 also has no lands, so we'll use Serum Powder to mull. Our other 6 also sucks, so we'll powder this away as well. This 6 is about as good as it gets, so we'll keep. Pre-game, put in 3 Leylines. We have no game actions. To play around Wasteland, we will not play our land. Opponent goes Savannah into a Reclaimer. We draw a Suppression Field, so we will play that. This turns off Wasteland and does allow us to play Opalescence next turn. Opponent plays a Windswept Teeth, and that means they can't crack it because of Suppression Field. We will play out our Mana Confluence we drew, cast Opalescence. We'll go to combat and attack the opponent for 14. Opponent casts a Swords targeting our Suppression Field. Then they fetch, finding a Plateau, and cast another Swords targeting our Leyline of Combustion. Opponent takes 8 though. Please, no more Swords, opponent. Opponent plays out of Dark Depths. Opponent does nothing after that. We draw a Leyline of the Void. We'll just ship in with our 2 4/5s. Opponent cast a Crop Rotation in the Yavimaya. They cast another Crop Rotation, grabbing a stage, which means that they can copy Dark Depths. Well, they copy the Dark Depths, which means they have a 20/20, and we cannot win the game because they will just attack us for 20 next game. So let's get on to sideboarding. For this matchup, we'll bring in 2 O-ring effects and take out 2 Leyline of Vitality. For game 2, our hand looks amazing, so we will keep. We'll put in our 2 Leylines, play our Sanctum, and play a Suppression Field. Opponent plays out a Wasteland, but they cannot activate it because of Suppression Field. Our opponent uses a Force of Vigor in our upkeep, so we will cast an Idyllic Tutor in response because of Leyline of Anticipation, and we will grab another Suppression Field. Then opponent Wastelands our land. Top deck another Suppression Field. I believe we are forced to play this land out, so we'll let the opponent go and hope they don't have another Wasteland. Just have a Windswept Teeth. Top deck an Opalescence, nothing we can cast, so we'll pass. Opponent plays that a Yavimaya and does nothing else. Draw a Leyline, we'll just pass. Opponent plays the Flagstones and then uses Crop Rot to sack it. Opponent finds another Wasteland. Because of Yavimaya, we can crop rotation our Serra Sanctum, and we'll find another one. And we draw a Serra Sanctum off the top, so we will float a white off of the original, play another one, and play a Suppression Field. Opponent finds a stage and plays out a Minskin Boo. They cannot activate Boo because of field. We draw a Leyline of the Wind, we'll just cast another field. Opponent plays a Maze of Ith and pays 4 mana to activate Boo. Find another Leyline off the top, there's nothing we can do. Opponent ticks up again, attacks us for 7. We top deck another Leyline, so there's nothing we can do here. Opponent just kills us next turn, so let's get into match number 3. Match 3, we're on the draw, and our hand just a little too slow, so a mole. Our 6 is perfect, so we will keep, and we'll put back an Opalescence. Hope to find a way to draw one or top deck one. Put in our 4 Leylines. Opponent goes Island Ponder. Opponent chose not to shuffle. We find a Sanctum anyways. We'll just play out our Tree of Tails and pass. Opponent fetches for a UC and then plays a Brainstorm. They cast a Dark Ritual, into another Dark Ritual, into an LED, into a Doomsday. Opponent cycles a Street Wraith, cycle another Street Wraith, into another Street Wraith, uses Edge of Autumn to cycle. Opponent cycles using Edge of Autumn again, floating 3 mana, then cast the Thassa's Oracle, killing us. Let's get on to sideboarding. We're going to trim on our tutors and bring in some good sideboard cards in Hero. Game 2, we're on the play, and this hand looks amazing, so we'll keep. We'll put in both of our Leylines, play Sanctum, and Suppression Field. Opponent ends up having a Force of Will, and opponent has a Duress, taking our Helm of Obedience. We draw a Leyline, so we'll just go land and pass. Opponent plays out a Fetch land, cast a Cabal Ritual into a Doomsday. We draw a Leyline and Sanctity after their Doomsday, so we'll just cast that. Hope we get another turn. Opponent cycles a Street Wraith, cycles another Street Wraith, and then casts an Oracle. And that's the game. Let's get into match number 4. We're on the play for match number 4, and this hand looks beautiful, so we'll keep. Play out our 3 Leylines, play out our land, and we'll plan on Enlightened Tutoring on their instep. I don't waste our land, so we have to Enlightened Tutor here. We'll grab Tree of Tails, the Wasteland happens. Play out our land and pass. Opponent plays Volk into a DRC. Draw a Leyline, we'll just pass. Opponent goes Steam Vents into DRC. They attack us for 1. Draw another Leyline. Gotta hope they don't have any forces or dazes, which is very optimistic. Opponent casts a Brainstorm, surveilling 2, keeping 1 on top. Then they play Fetch land and attack for 2. We draw another Leyline of Anticipation. Again, nothing for us to do, so we'll pass it to the opponent. Opponent plays out another Wasteland. We draw another Leyline. Opponent casts a Brainstorm, surveilling both at the top, into a Mercurial Spell Dancer. Opponent attacks us for 2 and does nothing else. We draw an Enlightened Tutor. Opponent attacks us for 4. Draw another Crop Rotation. And there's nothing we can do here. Opponent just had Wasteland, so that just kind of got us. So let's get into sideboarding. We'll bring in Heroes for our Enlightened Tutors. Game 2, we just don't have the right land, so we gotta ship it. This hand also has some issues, so we'll use a Powder. We'll bottom one of our lands. This 6 dies to a Counterspell and a Wasteland, but it does have turn 2 Opalescence, so we will keep. Put in our Leylines, play Sanctum, and cast our Powder. Opponent only has an island, into a Delver, into a Mistress Bauble. We draw a red Leyline, so we're slamming Opal. Opponent bobbles himself, then cast a Daze, countering our Opalescence. Opponent flips Delver, showing a Lightning Bolt, then cast a Ponder. Opponent chose not to shuffle either. Opponent bops us for 3. We draw a Crop Rotation. Opponent casts another Ponder, not shuffling either, then cast a DRC. They bop us for 3. We draw a Leyline of the Meek, so we'll just cast it. This allows us to top deck an Opalescence and play around Daze. Opponent casts another DRC, then to a Ponder, thens Daze and Brainstorm. Opponent chose not to shuffle, playing a Wasteland, hitting our Serra Sanctum, and attacks us for 4. Found a City of Brass. Play that, hold up Crop Rot. Opponent attacks us for 5, and does nothing else. Go to our draw step. It's not going to do it for us, so we'll move into match number 5. Match 5, our hand's a little slow, but we'll keep. Put in our 2 Leylines. Opponent plays Plains into Aether Vial. We'll cast our Serra Sanctum. Opponent plays Wasteland and passes. We are forced to Enlighten Tutor when they go for the Wasteland. We'll find Tree of Tails. Play our land and pass the opponent. Opponent plays over Schadenport. Opponent does nothing else. Opponent activates Vial, and we just have to let this happen. If it's a Thalia, we just lose. And it is. Tap down our lands. Draw Suppression Field. We'll just pass the opponent. Opponent takes their Vial up to 3. Plays a Plane into Spirit of the Labyrinth. They Vial in a Lauren, killing our land, and we'll scoop them up up there. There's no way we can come back from that. Let's get on to sideboarding. We'll bring in the Chancellors to slow the opponent down and take out Serum Powders. For game 2, our 7's just a little too slow, so we'll mull. Our 6 is much better. We'll keep this and put back a Leyline of Punishment. We'll reveal Chancellor and put in our 2 Leylines. Opponent plays the Wasteland on turn 1 and hits our land in our upkeep. We draw a Tutor. Opponent plays out a Caracas. Find another Leyline. Opponent finds a Cavern. Let them play into our Chancellor. They cast a Stoneforge Mystic and they find a Cauldron. On their end step, we'll cast the Enlightened Tutor, finding our Tree of Tales, play our land and pass the opponent. Opponent finds Port and plays a Lauren. We find a Leyline, so we'll just pass. Opponent activates Stoneforge, put it in Cauldron, attacks us for 7. Opponent taps down our city, and that deals us 1 point of damage. We top deck a Suppression Field. Well, after drawing the Suppression Field, there's nothing we can do this game, so we'll scoop them up. Overall, we did go 0-5 with the list. Nothing too out of the ordinary or unexpected. This deck is definitely a weak one and Glass Cannon-y, so both of those are very fragile effects. But with EI getting banned, I thought maybe that we'd have a chance not running into Delver as often, so I had to get this deck a go. I would highly recommend at least playing this deck once in your life. It's definitely a crazy off-the-wall combo deck that, you know, almost never works, but when it does, it's really cool. I appreciate everyone for watching. Please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know down below specifically if you want to see more Legacy, and until next time.